Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 3 of the Double Down podcast presented by KFan. Today is Friday, October 25th, and I'm so excited to be back here in the iHeart Media building in St. Louis Park, bringing you all another episode. For those of you that are listening, remember there is a video version on YouTube. You can find that at double-down-podcast, or you can just look up Double Down Podcast. It's that black screen with Double Down across the front of it. And you can find us there on YouTube. Obviously, we appreciate you guys listening. However, you can listen, and we are available on all platforms: iHeartMedia, Apple, Spotify, you name it. You can find wherever you can find a podcast, you can find the Double Down podcast. And make sure to follow our socials at Instagram. We have at double_down_pod. That's on Instagram at double_down_pod. And on TikTok at double.down.pod. On TikTok, double.down.pod. Today we are back in the studio. It is Friday, October 25th. Like I mentioned, we pre-record episodes, so we're super excited to be joined here by my guy, Antwan Kimmons. Just a little background on Antwan. Me and Antwan have history going back to the glory days, Matamidi versus Tartan. We'll get into all of that. But Twan is a guy where if you watched him on the court, if you watch 1 minute of him play, you become a fan immediately. Just the energy and the passion he brings to the game. I'm honestly super excited to have you here because I know you have such an interesting story and journey. And we're just super grateful to have you on the podcast. So thanks for coming, man.
Appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, this will be a blast. Let's start there. Let's start the Matamidi and Tartan days. Maybe even before that. Tell me, growing up, was it always basketball for you? Obviously, we know you're an athlete. You're a stud. Wherever you like the Ant Edwards, wherever you put him, he's going to be successful. But was it always hoops for you? Did you know it was going to be hoops in your future?
Nah, you know it's crazy. Growing up, I played football.
Football
was my
you're
first
a beast.
love.
Yes.
Football is still my first love.
Yeah.
Like to this day, I just gravitated to basketball. I remember being like 7. My dad had put me on the basketball team, and I had never had played basketball, and it was a girl on the team that was better than me. And I've always been competitive since a kid. So when she was better, like I seen it as a kid, like I don't know, it just lit a fire under me. Yeah. So like I would go to the park by myself and just be at the park like hooping. But I always loved football. Like I didn't really care for basketball.
Well, let's start there then. Football. Obviously you probably were successful. What was your position? Where were you at? And then how you played all the way through senior year? Did
I
didn't. You stopped early. Okay.
So we're gonna get there. So I started playing football when I was like 6.
Okay.
I had a knack for defense. Like I was middle linebacker when I first started playing.
Love it.
Just like the tackle,
go hit somebody, right?
Rough, yeah. But as I got older, I realized that I was good on offense. So I
too explosive to not have a skill position, right?
So I just kind of gravitated away from defense and started playing offense. So I'm from St. Paul originally, but I used to take the bus from school from like I want to say 3rd grade all the way up until 8th grade, from St. Paul all the way to Minneapolis by myself. Yeah. So from like the age of 9, I would take the bus after school. I would have my equipment at school, and I would take it from St. Paul to Minneapolis, and the bus rides would be like an hour and a half, 2 hours to get to practice every day.
What was, and we'll get into more of that stuff, but what was the reason to not stay in St. Paul?
So I like growing up, my mom and my dad live from Chicago, so they don't know nothing about St. Paul. They don't know nothing about the sports and stuff. They didn't play sports. Like they played sports growing up. That was in Chicago, so they didn't know too much. So my younger sister's dad is from Minneapolis.
Gotcha.
And he knew, like, he played when he was growing up.
Background,
yeah. So like it was like my mom was like, okay, we gonna go out here. I had an older sister that cheered, cheerlead, and I was like, I'll just play out here. And then my mom had to work. She had some car problems, and I'm like, well, I still want to go to play in Minneapolis because that's where I started. And I felt welcome and I felt loved. And I just learned how they taught me how to catch the bus by myself, and I just was catching the bus. Like I was just every day. Like I would go to practice, and then at night I would catch the bus back home.
Wow! So, and that was just the journey there.
That was the routine.
I love it. Yeah. And then obviously you end up switching. What age did you switch to Tartan? I can't remember. Was it
so my freshman year? So I went to a public school in St. Paul, Humboldt, West Side. Yep. I didn't know nothing about Tartan. I didn't know nothing about like Jordan, Jarvis, none of those guys before I got there.
Chico?
Yeah, I didn't know none of Chico, none of those guys. So 8th grade, I got super good at basketball, right? And I had a science teacher at Humboldt that coached that Tartan, the B squad.
Okay.
Coach Carrier,
Yeah.
and I was a like kind of a trouble kid growing
Mm-hmm.
up. And I remember eighth grade. I'm like, I found out I was going to Tartan, so I'm telling him like I'm going to Tartan because he
Yeah.
had told me he coached, right, and I'm like I'm gonna play varsity. He's like, nah. But mind you, I didn't know nothing about Jarvis and Jay
Yeah.
Horn and them. I'm just an naive
Yeah. There's
eighth
some
grader.
dudes up there
Yeah,
now.
you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I didn't know, and I was in a space where like I had to learn everything that I learned on my
Mm-hmm.
own. Like I felt like I was just confident. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there and play. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no
So
doubt. Yeah, you had that. It's almost that like irrational kind of confidence. Like nobody's gonna get in my way. Like
yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter. But obviously, some guys not got in your way, but made it
Yeah.
harder for you to see the floor right away. Talk about that transition. Just catching the bus every day from St. Paul to
Mm.
Minneapolis, and then obviously you transitioned into Tartan. Was it difficult for you to kind of make that transition into Tartan, or was it easy for you just because you had that kind of that hooping background and stuff?
No, it was easy to transition into Tartan because I mean it was just like a new start, like a new
Yeah.
beginning type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. It wasn't nothing like I was nervous. Um I would say that once I got like Tartan people Tartan is a suburban school,
Yeah.
but like it's kind of public St. Paul public
Yeah,
school.
it's
Even
still
though it's
kind of like got that St. Paul
yeah,
public
yeah.
school
So like
feel.
when I went there, I knew people already, you know,
Yeah.
and it was a lot diverse than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have a problem transitioning. And like I said, I had grown a liking for basketball so much
Mm-hmm.
that, like I said, I was kind of a problem child. Like growing up,
Mm-hmm.
I was a terrible kid. Like I'm like, oh, I can't lie. But once I figured out that I wouldn't be able to play basketball
Yeah,
unless I didn't get in trouble anymore,
no
like it
doubt.
would switch. And then Coach K, like
Yeah, Coach
his
K's not gonna
presence,
let you. Yeah, Coach K's
yeah,
not gonna let you have that.
yeah.
That's for
So
sure.
yeah, transition was easy
Yeah, good.
for sure.
Obviously, we talk about the transition from football to basketball. At what point did you kind of know like it's not going to be football for me? Like this hooping stuff is what I want to do.
You know, it's crazy. Like it wasn't even that football wasn't for me. I just got to Tartan and like they wasn't really that good at
Just
football.
more of a basketball school.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, I don't want to get hurt if
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play basketball.
Yeah.
And then I had um that's when I like I said, like growing up, my mom and dad they didn't know nothing about like scholarships and all that
Mm-hmm.
other stuff. Like
Yeah.
so I'm getting a tartan and I'm around these guys like Jordan, I'm around Coach K, I'm around Jarvis and Jarvis is getting offers, Jay
Yeah.
Horn's getting offers. So I'm like, was like, I don't know nothing, none of this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like when I got there, I'm like, all right, if I want to get an offer, I can't get hurt. I can't, you know what I mean? Like so
Yeah.
I got and Tartan was not good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like I played my freshman year, like 2 games, I quit. I'm like, nah, I'm not
Really.
doing that. I
Yeah.
don't want to get hurt.
Just wanted to lock in on hoops.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
just locked in. I played like one game my sophomore year,
Yeah.
quit because I got hurt. I was like, I'm not doing it.
No, that's not worth it. It's
Yeah,
not
senior
worth
year I
it.
played the full year, but
Okay.
yeah,
Talk
but
about that really quick. We'll talk about football senior
oh yeah,
year.
senior year was crazy.
Yeah.
First year we went, first time ever in school history we went to state. We beat
Wow.
Mighty Minak
Yeah, you
in the
guys beat
section
us.
final.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, I had a crazy year. I had like 20 plus touchdowns. I had like 8 callback. It was crazy. It was crazy.
They needed you out there all 4 years.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
coach was
nah,
like,
nah,
we
back,
needed this guy
nah,
to turn
back.
our football
Yeah,
program around. But obviously, basketball was what it was for you. You playing basketball growing up. Was it immediately a love for you? Was it something where it was like because a lot of guys will talk
yeah,
about like basketball. It's just like it's the place where they can go
mm,
and it's just peace for them. Was
yeah.
was that something you found in basketball?
No, not really. I didn't really find peace in. I found peace in football. Like I
Yeah,
really love football, but like I remember watching Kobe like the finals.
yeah, yeah,
This was my first like I was like 7. I wasn't that good, but I remember watching Kobe,
yeah.
2007 vividly him playing against the Boston Celtics,
Oh yeah,
and like that's when I started liking the Lakers. I started liking Kobe. Like I just fell in love with basketball
yeah,
because of Kobe, but I didn't really have a liking to go out and play.
yeah,
It was just more so like all right, I'm watching it. Like I really love watching basketball,
yeah. No
and
doubt.
then after overtime, I'm like all right, like and then I started playing. I'm like all right, I'm kind of good at this, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost one of those things where it's like you almost kind of got to make a smart decision where it's like this is probably what's best for my future.
Yeah.
Did you feel that kind of?
Yeah, definitely when I got to high school for sure,
Yeah.
definitely. But I honestly like looking back. Well, obviously where I'm at, I'm glad that I'm where I'm at.
Yeah,
Like
no
I
doubt.
probably would have, I probably because I got friends right now that are is doing pretty good at football,
Hmm.
and like I feel like I could be doing the same
Yeah,
thing. I
no doubt.
probably for sure could have been doing the same thing in
Yeah.
football, but I just was like
Yeah.
I don't really care for
Well,
football
well,
anymore.
basketball, well, basketball was what you chose, and
Yeah,
ultimately it ended up being a great decision for you. in high school, obviously at Tartan, who, for those of you that don't know, Tartan is a historic basketball program. They've had some greats come out of there. Obviously, Maramirai Tartan has been a rivalry for forever. It was always absolutely electric and lit games anytime we played you guys, both sides, at your guys' place or at our place. And you had a great high school career. You averaged 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. To lead your team to a 25-3 record your senior season. And you left Tartan, breaking the all-time single-game scoring record from formerly set by Jake Sullivan, a Tartan great, obviously. You had 41 and 45 points in a game that year. You finished on both Bob McDonald Award and Minnesota Mr. Basketball finalist. You obviously earned third team All-State honors and All-Metro second team by Minneapolis Star Tribune. So basketball ended up being a pretty good decision for you. You tallied up some special things. Kind of just talk about that senior year and how special it was for you to have a great year, not only for yourself but for Tartan and for your teammates.
You know, it's crazy. I didn't really have that good of a senior year.
You had a pretty dang good year.
Well, yeah, like basketball wise, but like mentally wise, I didn't. I had committed to Idaho. It was the first offer I got after the summer, junior summer, going into my senior year, and I committed because I just wanted my dad to be happy, you know, be proud. My dad was in jail at the time. Mm-hmm. My mom was on a visit, and I just wanted to like see her smile and just make her happy, and just know that she don't got to worry about me paying for college. So I did it out of that and not doing it for myself. I didn't think I would probably survive in Idaho. It was too far away from home. So like my whole senior year just was a lot of that, just thinking about that every day. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really get to enjoy my senior year. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So senior year was it was bad mentally, but it was definitely good. Like basketball wise, football wise, like all those things was really good.
Well, let's rewind then to when that kind of recruiting process started for you. When did you really start getting recruited by the Division I level, and when did you kind of start getting these interests and phone calls and all that kind of stuff?
I want to say my sophomore
year. Yeah. Who were you playing summer with?
Pulley.
We're playing with Pulley in the summer. Okay. Yeah, so you were out there on the Nike circuit, getting all the looks, all the coaches and calling, and what was it early? Was it like immediate, like had schools that you wanted, or was it like, nah, I'm not messing with these schools that I got. Like I got to get some different offers, or how was it for you?
I mean, I didn't get my first offer until like I said the last month of June, my junior summer. So like that August, going into my senior year, I had a couple like visits, like official visits, and like just like invitations.
Yeah.
Utah State, I went to that. I think Nebraska, Omaha, Missouri State. Yeah. Just a bunch of schools that just was like kind of showing interest, not giving no offers.
Mm-hmm. And then ultimately you commit to Idaho.
After the first offer.
And that was just, and like you said, kind of talk to us more about that decision, and maybe it wasn't the best decision for you. Maybe it was too fast, or kind of how that process went down for you.
No, it definitely was too fast. Like I said, we went out there. I liked it. It's beautiful in Idaho. Mm-hmm. Like it's houses on top of the hills. It's all like it's very super pretty. Nice. It's super nice. But I just made the decision because my mom, like I said, I could like the expression on her face to see how she felt. Like my mom, like she comes from like nothing, And my mom had me and my sister before she was 18, so she got pregnant with my sister at 14, had her at 15, got pregnant with me at 16, had me at 17. So like, and my sister was already in college.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like, for me, it's like, all right, like I'm gonna get free college, and this is gonna make my mom like the happiest. Like, you know what I'm saying? My sister's in college, she's paying for college, but she's in college, she's gonna graduate, and I'm getting free college. Like I can't give this, opportunity.
It's almost like she doesn't have to worry about me anymore.
Yeah. So I just committed, but I was sick, like literally, like when I got back home on the flight, I'm like,
what did I do?
Yeah, pretty much. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just go with it. Like, I'll be good, and like just mentally, like just looking back at it, I'm just like, dang, like But it was all a part of the journey.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all part of the journey. And ultimately, you don't end up going to Idaho. Yeah. How did that kind of go down? How did it flip? Was it just you and I in the picture, or was it other? Like, talk to me about that.
So, so after the season, the coach had got fired at Idaho.
Oh, that works out for you.
Yeah, and I was happy. Like I was super happy. So I'm like, all right, man, like I'm gonna decommit. I decommitted. and you and I had gave me an offer, and then San Diego was talking to me.
Fun spot.
Yeah. So and like even now, like I be thinking like, dang, I should have like tried to see what San
Southern
Diego was
Cal,
about.
see what
Yeah,
they're
like
talking about.
took a visit. You know what I'm saying? And now having a daughter now, I think that she's gonna like want to play sports. I hope she does. If she doesn't, like it is what it is. But now that what I know now, um, I went into UNI, same thing, like 3 hours away. I'm like, all right, this is the perfect spot because it's the closest Division 1. I ain't getting an offer from the Gophers, so I'm like, I gotta go to some, close to D1. St. Thomas was in a Division 1 school at the time. I was like, I'm gonna just commit, but also, Coach Jay was like, we got some other JUCO guards that we offer. Like, I would hate for you to like leave, type of thing, and like they commit, and then I can't take you. So I'm like, in my head before I leave, I'm like, oh, damn, I gotta commit.
Every coach is the same in that way, aren't they? Yeah, no doubt.
But I'm happy I committed there, though. I'm happy I ain't go to San Diego. It was like I said, all a part of the journey.
Yeah, and honestly, it was a really good decision for you. I think it's a place where, and I don't know how your relationship is with Coach Jake now, but I always was fond of Coach Jake, and I think you had some great people around you. Obviously, my guy Nate Heisey was around you, so and a couple other that we'll get to. But let's just wrap up there in high school. Kind of talk to me about how the season ended and just your excitement to get down to UNI and to be a D1 hooper. Like where were you at mentally at that point? Of obviously you said it was a tough year for you mentally, but kind of explain to us why it was kind of a tough year.
Just like I said, every day thinking about leaving. You got friends, at that point I had a girlfriend, or like a person I was messing with for like 2 years, and I knew that I was leaving. So like it was a lot of stuff that was going in with it. And I just was like, I was mentally just like not prepared to leave. You know what I'm saying? And not go that far away, and not being able to come home. And, it's a flight home. It's not easy as like, get on the road that, you and I are being down the road. So like mentally every day, that's all I would think about. Like I didn't think about nothing else because I knew it was coming every day. It was getting closer and closer. So, um, but I just really played. Like I wasn't even playing. I think maybe subconsciously, maybe during the season, I played to like maybe decommit to get another offer, maybe like subconsciously. But I was just playing just to, it's my senior year. Like
you love it.
Yeah, like those 40-point games. Like it wasn't like I didn't like, all right, this game I'm finna score 40. Like it just like happened type of thing, and I'm just like, dang, like
that's the best. I feel like that's the best way to do it too. When you're just out there playing free, you're not worrying about anything else. Especially for a guy like Coach K, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you a Coach K question. Obviously, so growing up, I'll tell my Coach K story. I thought he was crazy, man. Like I was probably 8-9 years old watching Matamidi versus Tartan games, and I could not believe that the coach was swearing. I could not believe he was saying swear words. Like I remember going home and telling my dad, like, the other team's coach swore because like our coach Newman is he's a really Christian guy, never swears, never gets on the refs, nothing. I was like, dude, the Tartan coach swore. Like I couldn't believe that growing up, and obviously grew really fond of him. We have a strong relationship to this day. His brother is a ref as well. Honestly, you see him all the time. Just tell me what your relationship was like with Coach K and how he helped you, in your early developments of hoop.
Man, early early development, man. I remember sophomore year. We was in practice, and I turned down a shot, and he was like, "Shoot the ball!" Like he told me, "Shoot it." Like he was like kind of nice about it. Literally, like 2 possessions later, I get another open shot. I didn't shoot it. Mind you, I'm playing with like Jordan. We got all these seniors.
Yeah, there's dudes out there. Yeah.
So I'm like, and it's my sophomore year, and I had started like most of the year, and I'm like, I'm just playing my role. Like my role is to, facilitate the ball.
You got Kingston, you got Jarv, you got Jordan, we could go down the list.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dudes out there.
I ain't shoot that ball the second time though. He took me out. Like he was like, get out, like get off the floor. And I'm like, dang, like, but like looking back at it, I look back at a lot of stuff and like it just makes sense because it's like, well, he was like he wanted me to shoot and like get ready to mentally, shoot the ball for next year.
For sure.
Like, I was gonna be that player that would shoot a lot of shots. So like, why not do it right now?
Yeah,
but it's funny because that same year we played CDH in the section finals, and we was on a comeback, and like, it's a video out there somewhere, but I was on the right wing we might have got a steal or something. Jordan's bringing it up, momentum.
Yeah.
He throws it, kicks it to me on the wing. I shoot it, and Coach K's like he puts his hand up and he's like, oh my, like why'd you shoot it type of thing, like why are you shooting the ball? And I make it, you know, and it just like came full circle. So it's funny. Just it was funny, going through that. But yeah, Coach K, from like I say to any kid that when they ask me what high school they should go to, I always say Tartan. Like not even because of biased reason, but if you want to play basketball, like Coach K, like from scouting to film to
next level.
Like it's like it's OC. Like it's like I knew like terminology. So like for example, when I was going on the visits, like I went to a Utah State practice, and I'm sitting there, and I'm listening to the coaches talk, and I'm like, oh, I know what that is, like because of Coach K.
How great of an advantage too, for a young guy like yourself.
So and like that was top tier.
And not every kid gets to experience that. Actually, I would say 95% don't. Like a lot of kids, when they come to college, like they've never heard the terminology. They don't know what it is to practice hard. Like you guys practice hard. I'm sure. Like I'm sure Coach K made you guys work.
For sure, made us work. And like it just like so all of this stuff comes full circle. Like I say, like I just think back, like I just played in the next chapter stuff, and like one of the comments was like, you can tell like Antwan came from a hard coach that preached defense, preached hard defense, knew how to play defense, and it just be like, dag, like it's crazy how somebody that from another state, from maybe not even in the country, whatever the case may be, but that don't know me, don't know what I've been through,
you can tell.
They can tell, you know what I mean? So like, and that's been like that from when I was a kid all the way up until I went to UNI.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, and obviously it's something you pride yourself on. I think if anybody watches you play, it's your energy, your effort, your just your love for the game, your enthusiasm, kind of that toughness, kind of really does come out on the court. So obviously we transitioned from Tartan to UNI. Talk to me, early stages coming in. I know it's different for everybody. Some guys come in and they're like, about to average a dub, I'm about to start. Yeah. Some guys come in with the mentality like, okay, I'll redshirt and I'll be eventually one day. Like where were you mentally coming into college?
Well, mentally, I was not ready to go. Still, like
you wanted to stay home, huh?
Yeah, cause I had to go like 2 days after graduating.
Yeah,
I don't get no summer, bro.
Going right to summer practice at the D1 level.
Yeah, I definitely cried a couple times the first week for sure. I was calling my friends, crying, telling them I wanted to come home. My mom, like I don't want to do this. Talking to my dad, I'm like, I want to do this.
Yeah. What do they have to say to you in those moments?
I mean, it's just encouraging words.
Yeah.
Like, like it's gonna be okay. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's gonna be okay. But no, it was hard, man. I was like, I don't want to do this. And then that summer, I lost my brother. So that was hard for me.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of the summer, doing workouts and stuff, that hurt me a lot. But as far as playing, like I knew I was gonna play. Like I just knew. Like I just that's just how I felt. Like
too talented not to. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so, like in my head, like I was a freshman. Like all these other guys been playing. We got a lot of seniors on our team, but I didn't care. Like I was like, I'm gonna make a difference somehow, some way.
So, that's cool. Let's circle back to your brother. How tough was that mentally to be in a situation where you're in as a freshman coming into a D1 basketball program and it's already tough on you mentally, and then this happens? Like, how did you survive through that? Like, how did you cope? What did you do to like make yourself okay?
Not being home really helped for real. Cause not being around people, being around basketball every day, having to live, have to keep myself busy, being around my teammates and stuff. That helped. And just like being a kid and having somebody that's like losing somebody like that, it does affect you in like a crazy way. But at the same time, like I've always been like a positive, like type of person. Like I don't really like I see the positive in a lot of things, and I just remember him always saying stuff like, like you got it, like you can, like you're good, like you know what I'm saying, like you're cold, stuff like that, and like that's even like something he shared. It was like maybe a car or something like that, like. I can't wait to see you at the NBA draft or something like that, stuff like that. So stuff like that make like just keep me going, because it's like I can't stop.
Knowing how he genuinely feels about you, like knowing that he believes in you, and it's like yeah, it's terrible to lose them, but at the same time, it's like now you feel that like you have to hold that kind of even closer to you. Is that kind of something you felt?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. No, definitely. I was like, I gotta, like, now I gotta, like, put my foot on the gas even more. You know what I'm saying?
So transitioning, you do put your foot on the gas, and it's always kind of a toss up for freshmen coming in. It's like some you might have a chance to play, you might have a chance to play a couple minutes, you might not. Where was your headspace in coming into the year? Obviously, you said like I'm going to play, and you do play. But how did you think coming in your freshman year that you were going to be able to make an impact and help the team?
My thing was playing defense, like so full court.
Yeah.
Nobody else doing it in
Pressing,
practice.
getting up.
That's what I'm doing. So like I'm just gonna play full court. Every practice, that's what I'm gonna put all my energy into. Obviously, I'm gonna do everything else they want me to do, but I'm gonna play full court and nothing else mattered to me. So and that's how I got on the floor and then when I started doing it, everybody else wanted to do it on the team. It was contagious.
It's almost that, it's almost that leading by example type of thing, and especially from a young guy, was that difficult for you as a young guy to like, or was it just in your nature where it's like I'm gonna do what I do, and if people better follow along?
Yeah, no, it was just it wasn't. See, like some teams, like some people, like some people hate, like some like older guys be hating.
Yeah.
And like at Tartan, like that's how it was. It was like a lot of hate my freshman year because I'm like a freshman that actually you don't really see it. And Coach K, like he's not playing upper, lower.
No, Coach K never did.
Not really, unless you were like actually good enough. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of hate on that end when I was at Tartan. But then it was no hate. Like the older guys, they wanted that. Like they were like pushing
it's that maturity that happens when you grow up, where it's like in high school you're like, oh, I waited, so now it's my time, and in college it's like, no, the best player plays. Like the best player is on the court, and obviously your freshman year, you appeared in all 31 games, scoring 86 points. You shot 45% from the field. And had a really solid year, kind of as just a really solid role player for that team. Your career, your high that season was 13 points against a really good Loyola team. And we can talk about individual games, but that was the year that season ended early due to COVID. But just talk about that year as a whole. Was it the year you kind of expected? Was it a fun year from you? Was it a good year? Like what happened throughout that year?
It was it was a good year. Yeah. After I broke that mental wall down where it's like I want to go home and stuff like that. I broke it down and I was like, all right, we playing now. Like I'm in the season. Like everything just started working itself out. We going on trips. We went to Italy that year.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
We went to Cancun. So I'm like, all right, I'm having
a great year. Yeah. You had a great year.
Yeah, and then we played again. Like so, when we went to Cancun, mind you, I wasn't playing. Like I would play in like. It was weird. Like I didn't play in games that I expected to play in, and then I would play in games that I didn't expect to play in.
Yeah.
So I played in all the games I didn't expect to play in. So like we go to Cancun, and I'm like, I'm not playing. I'm chilling. Like I'm happy because we playing. It's West Virginia. We playing against West Virginia. These are people these are teams I've seen on like TV growing up. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not finna play. I'm just happy to be there. It's on CBS. My boys gonna see me at home on on the bench, whatever. Somebody get in foul trouble. Coach Jake like get in there to Antwan, and I'm like, dang, like I didn't expect to play today, but I'm like, all right, cool.
I love it.
So I think they had Jordan McCabe that year.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
you've seen all of his mixtapes and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like,
all right, like this is my time. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
And I play like 20 minutes that game, and I do super good. Like I like super good. Like better than I thought I would. Like I think I maybe had like 5 points, something like that. But I played defense like full court from one end to the next end.
Love it.
I cut my eye open. I was bleeding. The announcer was like, "I love this guy." Like it might have been the next game. He was like, "I wish I could put him in my suitcase and take him home." Like so, all this stuff was happening. It was a good year. So I mean, a good little trip. And then South Carolina, we played South Carolina in the next game, and I scored I had like 10.
Yeah.
And I played like 20, 24, 25 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And these kind of your coming out party. In a way. Yeah.
And these are they're like SEC teams, and then I think Pac-12. Is it Pac-12 or
South Carolina would be in the SEC,
and then
West Virginia would be in the Big 12.
The Big 12.
Yeah, Big 12.
So these are teams that
this is high major hoops.
You know what I mean? High major. So, but I did good, like super good. So, yeah, I mean, yeah.
It was a good year.
Yeah, it was a good year. And then I played against Colorado. They was top 25.
Okay.
But Ken McKinley, right?
Yeah.
So
the greatest.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like we played against them, and I played 15 minutes.
Oh, you wanted all of that too.
You know what I mean? Yeah, no, I did, and we beat them. It was a top 25 opponent. You know what I mean? So like it's like
what a win, huh?
Yeah, it was what a win. But then I wouldn't play against teams like Illinois State. and Illinois State was just like they're not Colorado
So you
anymore.
kind of had that roller
Yeah,
coaster a
and
little bit.
it kind of affected me a little bit, but I was like, I'm a freshman, we winning. I'm not like it is what
You
it
didn't
is.
trip
Whatever.
over it too
Yeah,
much.
not too much. I was just a little bit like it was like kind of like mine, like you know what I mean? Like I play against West Virginia, Colorado, top 25. As South Carolina, I'm doing good against these teams, and I don't play against a team like you know.
Yeah.
So it's like
different situations, I guess. But it's cool that you kind of were able to stay even keel because a
yeah,
lot of guys would. It would be emotional. It'd be tough for a lot of guys, given that situation. Because truthfully, a lot of freshmen don't get those 25, 30-minute games. But for you to get them and just to embrace them as what they were that's a pretty cool thing. You finish up that year. You head into your sophomore year. Before we get into that year, tell me what are you thinking mentally? Like, hey, this is going to be a good year. Like, played in a lot of good games last year. Like, I'm ready for this year. Or where were you mentally going into sophomore?
First, we got to talk about the game against
All right,
Loyola.
let's talk about the Loyola game.
The Loyola
the 13,
game.
that was your high freshman.
Yeah.
Was it at Loyola at home?
No, it was at home. And that was the day Kobe died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so like.
January something.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what like came over me, but like that was a super good game.
Yeah.
That was probably my best college game.
That was a crazy time for all college hoopers, wasn't it? Yeah.
Like so I just went out there like I'm just play my hardest.
Yeah.
I was against steals and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
and Loyola was a good team.
Yeah, they were good. They were good. Yeah.
Always good.
Yeah, I had 13 that game. Like I had a crazy N1 where like I came on the court and like I just like kind of Euro. He grabbed me. I threw it up there and like McLeod Center was crazy. So like that's when I knew I'm like I can definitely play at this level and I can definitely like obviously the West Virginia all those games like super important but like that game I really knew like
well, that's like a good like conference level opponent. It's like this is where I want to be. This is the level I want to play at. It gives you that confidence. For sure. And then you bring that confidence into sophomore year. Tell me, where are you?
Man, COVID happened, and mind you, I was ready to go home. Like I love being in Iowa, but I was ready to go home. I'm like I've been here all year. COVID happened, we had to go home. So I'm like, all right, cool. And then I went there the whole summer because I really wanted to just be home. It was COVID. Like I'm like nobody's really playing for it. Like there's no point of us being here. And but I came back and I just was in a different type of space. Like the game had slowed down for me.
Yeah.
I felt good. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna I'm gonna play, but I wasn't there all the way, I was late to stuff a lot, not on purpose, just out of just like I really don't want to do this, right? Like I don't want to do it. Like they're like, well, we're not gonna have fans in the stands. I'm like, so why are we playing? That's where I was at. I'm like, I rather like people like I think Carl Anthony Towns, mom had died, and for me like that hit me because I'm like I'm a mama's boy. Like I love my mom and I love family, so I'm like I don't want to be here doing this and
miss out
something happened.
No
you know what I mean. So I was like, I'm going home. I want to help my mom, and my mom. I was helping my mom with stuff. So I was like, so I had left, but before I had left, I was in a really good space, like where I felt like I was like, all right, I'm gonna make this.
Did you play in a couple games before you left?
Like
three games. Yeah, you played in 3 games, and then obviously you had the conversation with Jake, and you decided to go home. I think during COVID, it's such a difficult time. I talked to this was like Brody's senior year too, or it was like my brother, and he's like just such a hard time. It's just like so weird when you're playing without fans. And in South Dakota, there wasn't as many COVID rules, so like we were out there just like with straight fans and having a great time and all that stuff. But obviously different in Iowa. How did that conversation go down and kind of give us a little insight on what it was like kind of leaving the team and was it hard on you? And obviously you're taking yourself away from hoops, so like you want to hoop and all that kind of stuff. Like take us through that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It wasn't hard because of the reason I was leaving.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard because just based off of that. And then Coach Jake was like we had a good relationship still to this day. Like I just went to dinner with them on Saturday night.
Oh, awesome.
So when they came to scrimmage, I went. So I still talk to him and stuff. But I mean, he was cool. I mean, we talked to the team. He was like, Twan's gonna go home. We don't know where he's gonna be back, but it was support though. I think I was the only guy that left, but I mean, it was support from the team, and
and ultimately, it was a decision you got to make as a man. It's like I'm making the best decision for what I think is at the time, and it ended up being a decision where you get that year back and you come back for the year after that.
Yeah.
Did you know you were going to come back to UNI? Was
Yeah,
it like because
sure.
a lot of people would probably speculate like, oh, he's leaving, then he's going to go somewhere else. But you end up coming back and you play in 28 games, and we'll go on about that year. But was it like I'm coming back, or how was it when you were home and getting ready to come back for the next year?
I knew I wasn't. I was going back for sure.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to go finish school. I got to keep playing basketball. Like, I'm not done. Like,
Yeah.
it
Too
was
many
never
good opportunities out there.
Yeah, I don't. My mom wouldn't allow me either.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely going. Like, the whole time I was home, just like, you going back, go back. So, yeah. But yeah. But when I chose to go back in the summer, I started doing stuff, and I was kind of, it was like being a freshman again, honestly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, just a different kind of headspace, and obviously coming out of COVID, and this is the year we were coming out of COVID, but you decided to come back and play in 28 games, and you had a similar year to kind of that freshman year. Kind of take us through that year and what it was like for yourself.
So that was hard too, because I found out I was having a kid in, let's say, the end of July.
Okay. So going into that summer.
Yeah. The end of July, and I had went to workouts and stuff, whatever. And I'm like, I found out I was having a kid.
Yeah.
So that changed everything.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, dang, I'm gonna have a kid. I'm in Iowa.
Yeah.
And for me, being a part of my kid's life, like, since I was a kid, like, I think my mom and my dad, like, my dad he went to jail when I was 5. So my dad always been a part of my life, but he like missed a lot of crucial points in my life.
You didn't want that to.
Yeah, yeah. Even though it wasn't nothing that severe.
Yeah,
still,
for sure.
I'm like, nah, I want to be there for my, be there for my child.
Yeah.
To protect my child. To, make sure I'm just there and
Show
present.
love,
all
that
so
kind of stuff.
the whole year, I'm like, Dad, I don't know what I'm doing. I got a whole nother year here. Like, what I'm gonna do? So I was struggling the whole year. Yeah. Nobody really knew what was going on for real.
How hard was that?
It was hard because I'm by myself. Again, I had an apartment by myself. I'm going through all this stuff by myself. I'm not talking to nobody. Don't nobody know for real.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that I gotta finish this out, finish school out, because I got a daughter. Like, now I have to provide for real.
Yeah.
Like, it was just myself. Like, okay, I gotta do this for me, but now I gotta do this for a whole nother human being and provide. And I don't want to not be able to, like, my mom provided, but they weren't like, they couldn't give me the life that I feel like I could give my daughter. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I didn't want to shortchange my daughter. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. So the whole year I just dealt with that.
Yeah.
And it was just.
Was it hard to kind of keep, like you mentioned, you didn't really tell many people. Was it hard for you to kind of keep it in? Was it something you wanted to tell people, or was it like I'm a man, I can deal with this on my own? Like, how was that for you?
I mean, I just didn't know how to tell nobody. Yeah. I just, like, I don't know how to tell, like, I'm gonna have a kid. Like, it was like,
what do you say?
Yeah, and I didn't plan on having a kid like at that moment. So I just was like, I don't know, like, what am I,
Yeah.
So I told my mom, my dad. Everybody found out like October.
Okay.
Like September, October.
Yeah.
I finally told, like, I finally started telling people, but, like, at first when I was like going back and stuff, I didn't say nothing. I really wasn't talking about it.
Yeah.
So it was tough for sure. And like I said, a lot of people knew back at home. Like, a lot of people didn't know in Iowa. Yeah. So, like, people at home couldn't really help me because they wasn't around me. I was around these people every day, but I wasn't around these people every day. So it was hard because I didn't have nobody to talk to. Like, so. Yeah. But it all worked out, though. So.
All worked out, and it did. And you finish out that year. By the end of that year, you have your daughter's born, correct?
No.
Or was that right after the year?
Right after. In April, she was born.
In April, she was born. So right after the year ended.
She wasn't born, Yeah, right after. Yeah, right after.
Okay.
March,
yeah, like March Madness-y time, and whenever you guys finished.
Yeah. But I didn't know I was transferring. It wasn't even a thought in my mind to transfer.
So you're planning on coming back?
Yeah, like, I'm gonna go back. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know I don't want to be away from my daughter. Yeah. That's all I know. Yeah. So. Yeah.
When did that thought process start to kind of go in your brain? Like, okay, she's born. I need to be around her. What what hoops would I jump through to make that happen?
As soon as she was born, I want to say April 3rd. I want to say maybe a couple days before she was born. I lost one of my friends. One of my friends died, and when he died, it kind of just like I missed out on a lot of time with a lot of my friends.
Yeah.
So he died and I had my daughter, and I just was like, I gotta be home, with my daughter, like by any means necessary, whatever I gotta do. So like
be around the people you love.
Yeah, it kind of triggered me. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I gotta be.
Wow.
So when I got back to Iowa, I didn't see my daughter for a whole month because I was in Iowa.
Yeah.
When she was first born, her first month of being born, like I didn't see her. Like I called like FaceTime, but she a baby, like she not doing it.
Yeah.
She won't do
Yeah. Exactly.
And I just was like, I can't, like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just gonna transfer back home.
Mm-hmm. How did that conversation come up? And obviously, I'm sure Coach Jake was, 100% in, behind you and had your back with that. But was that hard to leave? Because obviously, it's a situation where you probably liked being there and you like your coaches, you like your teammates, but at the same time, like the bigger picture, like I know I need to be back home.
So I did like being there, and but I was still like that year mentally, like it did like I'm a person where it's like I feel like when I'm giving my all and stuff, and like I don't feel like I'm getting nothing out of it, like I get like it really bothers me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like my freshman year I didn't play that much. Like it didn't bother me because I'm like I'm giving my all, but like it ain't really nothing that I'm like I got a kid now, so like if I'm gonna be out here and doing this with like I want to play. You know what I mean? I don't want to be out here for no reason. So the whole year I really wasn't playing. Like I would play one game, then play the other. Like really that much the other game. Some games I sat out. So like that kind of went into it. So I was like, yeah, I'm leaving. Like I'm like, So I talked to Coach Jake and he was cool with it. Like same thing. Like it's. I think we got a good relationship. I got a good relationship with those guys because the reasons why I left. Like I didn't leave because BS. I wasn't BS.
There's so many guys these days that are leaving for a bunch of crap.
So like I left because I wanted to be with my daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was like kind of point blank what it was, and he was cool with it and he understood. And obviously I wasn't playing. And I was kind of checked out too. Like I had a couple workouts and stuff that spring, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not feeling it. Like I just don't see myself here anymore.
Yeah.
Like I was ready to turn, like flip.
Your heart was telling you that it was time to go somewhere else. And you do flip that page, and you end up coming home, coming to Concordia St. Paul.
Yeah.
Was it always CSP? Was that like I'm going to CSP, or was there other options in there?
My AAU coach from 8th grade, he had texted me like 2 months prior.
Yeah.
Like, what you gonna do? Before the season was even over, and he was like, "What you gonna do? Like, are you gonna?" And he was telling me he like had put like CSP in my head. Good, like I'm Division One, like I was under that act. I was under that act. Like I ain't going to Division Two.
Yeah.
But 2 months later, I was ready to transfer. I had to transfer portal, and obviously you got Minnesota. St. Thomas had started. Being a D1, CSP, and Minnesota. I mean, I don't think they had. I mean, I think they had a scholarship, but I probably wasn't gonna get it. But by the way, I played in a.
You just didn't have the film out there that kind of showed who you really were.
Yeah, I wasn't. I wasn't good enough. I personally say I wasn't good enough. Like I'm not like like F Minnesota because they don't offer me. Like I wasn't good enough, and that was just period point blank. Was I good enough to like potentially? Yeah, like for sure. But like I wasn't good enough from to transfer.
You didn't have that stuff on film that showed who you really were as a player.
And then St. Thomas State was a new D1, so they didn't have.
They only had like 4 scholarships, I think, at the time.
So that was like, so CSP, they was on board like right away. So I was like, cool, I'm transferring to CSP, D2. I didn't really care at that point. I'm still getting free school.
Yeah, it's still a scholarship. It's still a place where you get to go ball out and have a good time doing it. And obviously, you decide to go play for Coach Fletcher at CSP. Fletch is the man. We'll get into Fletch, but how easy and seamless did he make your transition, and how important was that to you?
Super easy and super transition was super just the easiest. Because I was at a point when I was transferring from UNI. I didn't want to play basketball no more. I just wanted to graduate, get my degree, and be done. I don't even want to play basketball no more. I didn't even mention that. So I was just like mentally checked out. I was having a kid. I don't want to have a kid at that point. Like it was so much going on.
Yeah, no doubt.
So I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm straight on basketball. So I transferred I really transferred to CSP because I just wanted to get my degree. And I knew basketball. I had to keep on playing basketball to get my degree. So I didn't really care. I would do that. I was just gonna be like, whatever it is, what it is. I'm just gonna play and just be done.
Wow.
So
yeah, that's crazy.
yeah.
How was that tough on you mentally to be like, you know, as athletes, we put in so much work and we put in so much time, and it's like you want it to pay out in some way, and not to put words in your own mouth, but it really hasn't paid out the way that you wanted it to yet, you
Yeah.
know, and you still feel like you and me both know like you're too damn good of a player to like, you know, just give it up. Was that tough to kind of come to that realization?
For sure. Like I was at a realization, like when I first went in, I'm like, all right, NBA pro, like whatever it may be, overseas, I'm gonna make some money. And then like to be at UNI and not do nothing, I'm like, when I was leaving transfer, I'm like, bro, I'm not good enough to do none of that. Like I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? So like it was tough, like to swallow that pill, because I'm like, I thought I was gonna be this, you know, like I thought it was just gonna keep getting better, and it just never got better. And I'm just like, all right, whatever. Like at least I can get a degree out of all of this, you know what I mean? Like and like I say, I'm always positive. So I'm like, my mom and my dad don't got a degree, like. At least I get a degree, you know what I mean? Sure. I can get a good paying job. I'll be fine, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was tough.
And obviously it's something that you were able to overcome. You come into the 2022-2023 season and you do play basketball for the Golden Bears. And you were NSIC Newcomer of the Year. You were first team All NSIC. You started in 28 games. You were ranked 21st in the country at 21 points per game. You finished sixth in the NSIC in field goals made. We can go on and on about all the records and everything you set, but how special is that for you to one come back and hoop, but to do it in St. Paul, and do it where you're from, and just be able to go out there and have fun hooping again.
Nah, it was super special, man.
And do it in front of your daughter too.
Yeah,
which
it was dope, man. But even to go a couple months back to when I started going in the summer, like Fletch was a big help. Like the way he he's super, like, you know what I mean? Like he just was like telling me he telling me stuff that like nobody else is telling me. Like he's like, like I like you're good enough to do this, you're good enough to do that. So like I'm hearing this, but I'm looking at him, I'm like
yeah, how can you say that? Like you don't know.
I just averaged 2 points. Like what you talking about? Like I'm like whatever. Like okay, cool. Like I'm just like really blowing it off, but I'm hearing it. I'm listening. I'm taking it in. And then Jordan came back home. Jordan Horn, you know, me and Jay Horn, like our relationship from like freshman year of high school and me being a freshman to now, like it just grew like tremendously. Like I just like as a freshman, I couldn't see our relationship. Like I tell him all the time, like as a freshman and you as a junior, like I used to be annoying. Like so, like
a kid.
Yeah. So like I could never imagine our relationship being the way it is. But that summer, like it changed everything because like he was there for me. Like we working out, he showing me stuff, and like, all right, so we doing it, and then I get to play in the program.
Yeah.
The first year in the program. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I can do this, you know what I'm saying? Like I can, you know what I'm saying? And that's when it like my love, like it sparked back up because I'm in the program. Like we sucked, but I still was like, I'm still playing. Like I play with Dwayne Bacon. Like I'm seeing people I'm playing against these different people playing Tyus, like, and I'm doing good against them. Like, you know, I watched Trey in the EYBL circuit, like, and I used to be like, dang, like this, like I'm trying to like he's nice, like you know what I mean. But I'm playing against him now. He in the NBA, and you know I'm actually doing good.
With them, you're right there, neck and neck with them.
You know what I mean? So going into the year, like that's when it sparked the year, not when. But as soon as the year started, I'm like, all right, bet.
How important do you think it was to have a guy like Fletch that like truly did believe in you like that? Because even when you maybe didn't even believe in yourself.
Now it's super important to have people like that around you. Yeah. Like he didn't blow smoke up my, you know, like he wasn't telling me stuff that was not true. He was just telling me stuff that he seen the potential in, you know, what I could be. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he was telling it to me in a way of like he wasn't like saying it in like oh, you're like this great player. Like he was just like encouraging me, like you can do this, you can do that. Like,
has that true belief.
Yeah, like you can be this, you can be that. Like not like you are this, you are that. Like you can be. You know what I mean? And he was constantly telling me all summer, like just you know, and then for him to feel like I was good enough to play in a program, to ask me like you want to play in a program, like that was everything for me. So you know, it's like.
Well, let's talk about the pro-am because we've talked about it a lot on the pod, and obviously I had my own team with the podcast in the pro-am, and we'll get to last year. But let's talk about that first year in the pro-am. Like how great of a place is the pro-am? How fun was it for you to just go out there and hoop against all these dudes?
Man, it was fun, man. honestly, I was nervous, man. Going into the prom.
Yeah.
Like,
A lot of dudes out there now.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of dudes. I'm good enough to play with the
Yeah.
pros. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, ain't no way. Like in my head, because I've been through all this stuff these last couple months. And I'm there and I'm doing it. Like in the atmosphere, these people like the kids coming up to me after the games and stuff like that. Saying,
Autographs,
what I mean?
pictures, all that stuff.
So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, in my head now, I'm like, got it. Like I can do this again.
I
You know what
love
I
it.
mean? I
I
can
love it.
do it. So
Yeah.
like I was baby though. Like it was like you know how like you start something, it's like super fresh, like you super like you're a baby to it.
Yeah.
Like that's just I was
That's
like
what
a
it was.
baby, just like looking like you know what I mean. Like
But
it
how
was like
cool is that for you? Because like you went through so much
yeah.
over the last couple of years, obviously losing your friend
Mhm.
and your brother and having your daughter. Like, how cool was it for you just to like find that love and just that excitement for it again?
Oh, it was super cool.
Yeah.
Like once I found like I said, I got that spark again. I was like,
Mhm.
all right, like I can do something. Like now, and I also on top of the spark, I got a kid like
Yeah.
that's I'm seeing every day, that I'm looking at every day, that looks like me, that I'm like it's actually like so like I got a spark, and on top of that, she's like adding like a
Yeah.
like she almost like she got what is it called, lighter, not lighter fluid, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pouring that lighter fluid
yeah,
on the
like
fire.
yeah, like
Yeah.
that's how it is,
It's a
like
good
so
analogy.
yeah,
Yeah.
so like it's been like that since she came out the, like like she just
Yeah.
pouring it, and the
Yeah.
fire just keeps igniting.
Wow.
So like
That's
in a
special.
program, seeing all that, getting all that attention, the crowd's going crazy when I do certain stuff,
Yeah.
and then like knowing that I got a child at home that I gotta provide for her.
Yeah.
It's like it was so nice. It
Yeah.
felt so good.
That's awesome.
So
That's super cool. And obviously you had a heck of a time in the program, but you had a heck of a time at your first year at CSP.
yeah.
Kind of talk to us about like how cool was it, how the league and just the excitement. I think it's for those people that don't know, it's a really competitive league. There's some really dang good teams and good players,
Man,
and obviously you were one of those good players in the league. But just like kind of talk about the year as a whole and how fun it was for you to be out there hooping again.
it was super fun to be out there hooping again. I
Yeah.
felt like I was in high school again. I was
Yeah.
actually playing a lot. I felt important. I felt needed. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And it was super cool. I wasn't a good enough leader that first year.
Yeah.
If I could go back, I would do a lot of things differently.
Yeah.
I feel like we was good enough to be better, not crazy better, but good enough to be
Yeah.
better, because we was in a lot of games like that
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. And that's what it is, man. It's
yeah,
finishing those games out, those close ones.
and it was little things like rebounding, and I realized that at the end of the season that like I was the best rebounder on the team.
Wow.
And I got a rebound. So like against Northern, I had like 16 rebounds.
Holy cow.
At Northern, yeah, I had like 16 rebounds.
Come on, man. Don't break my record.
So I was like, I got to rebound. I got to do these little things. And like now being a leader I am now, like I know that now. But that first year, it was just like I said, just like fresh baby again. Like felt like but it was fun. Losing was terrible, because like I just don't come from losing. Like I won my whole, you know what I mean. So it was my first time losing. And it sucked. It did suck, but I had fun.
Yeah.
Playing at the not the, I was gonna say McLeod, Dinglehall Center. It was super nice.
Yeah, it's a fun place to play.
Yeah, it was nice. Breaking records and stuff, like it kind of just like
just being yourself again.
Yeah,
it's special. And obviously, with the guy, was Jordan there that year? Your first year back? Jordan wasn't there. Okay, yeah. So let's transition to that next year then. Our guy Jordan Horn, for those of you that don't know, Tartan legend. Everybody knows Jay Horn. Jordan was a guy that was recruited highly at a bunch of D1s. He had a couple different stops. He was at Siena. He was at NDSU. He was at Texas. Somewhere in Texas.
Yeah.
But then he comes home. St. Paul kid, just like yourself. And the two St. Paul boys kind of reunite.
Yeah.
How cool was that?
I mean, that was super cool. Like I said, our relationship had grown. And I think he had just bought his house. He was like, I want to, come back and play again. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, what are you thinking? And he was like, I'm finna go to Oklahoma. And I'm like, bro, you just bought a house and you trying to go to Oklahoma?
How does that make sense?
I'm like, nah, we're not doing that. So I'm like, I text Flex. I said, we got a scholarship. He like, yeah. And I'm like, I think that we should, we should offer Jay Horner, like, I'm trying to, see if, I don't know if that's illegal. So if I ain't supposed to be saying that, I'm sorry. But
no, I think you can say that.
I think I can recruit, right?
Yeah,
he didn't tell me to recruit. So he, so I told him to come to CSP. We had a scholarship. I knew it would be good.
Yeah.
And he came, and it was just the best just to be around him, having that the leader in the locker room, having a force in there. Yeah, it was super dope.
Yeah, Jordan, a guy that really has that kind of that leadership you look up to quality. How important was that to have him around, not only for yourself but also like you got a daughter at home, and he's a good example of what kind of guy that you want around, and obviously you probably were able to mirror kind of some of his leadership skills into your life as well.
So what you asked me? You asked
just
me like
how great was his leadership, and how did that kind of like reflect on yourself, and then because you said you wanted to lead as well, you wanted to be a better leader. How was he able to kind of teach you that?
Nah, I mean, you know, Jay Horn, he super like even since high school, like getting up at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning.
Yeah, he's a grinder, he's a worker.
Yeah, he was tripping in high school. I wasn't doing none of that. But nah, like having him at CSP, like he would be in a training room getting his stuff done, and like seeing that, like going into that year, I was doing the same stuff. I had to be that, like I had to mirror him. So like we would have to practicing at like 6:30 in the morning, but I would get up and be there like 4:45, 5 o'clock, shooting in the morning, doing stuff, getting my body right. And I also had the back injury stuff, so I was trying to make sure my back was ready for practice, ready to go. But being there before everybody, and then also having Jordan come in and being in the weight room. I mean, being in the training room and also the weight room too. But just doing all that stuff to combine with mine, like it was like a one giant like leadership that they gravitated, because like people don't really gravitate to me for real. Like I'm more of like I don't know what it is. Like people love me, but like I'm just like people gravitate to Jordan more because he was more like
just kind of got that kind of
factor to him.
Exactly.
So like they seen what he was doing, gravitated to him, but I'm still leading on the team. Like, I'm me. So like to combine it, to have him like have that, like, all right, that
almost that 1-2 punch.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, okay, I'm a leader on my own, right? Like I'm kind of like like Kobe type of like I'm like, do it this way. Like I want you to do, like I shoot the ball if you ain't gonna do it the right way type of thing. And Jordan's more like a LeBron type of, like charismatic, like people gonna like I want to play with him type of thing. So like it did have that, you know what I mean? Like when you have that, like, oh, I like this guy. It ain't that I don't like this guy, but I'd rather be around this guy. You know what I mean? So,
but it's cool to have that kind of that 1-2 punch, especially because like everybody knew on your team, everybody knew in the league, like you guys were so talented for that league. Like, and the league is, for those of you that don't know, it's one of those leagues where it's kind of like you come in and work your way up, and you're maybe really good your senior year or something like that. Like for a guy like me who was okay his first year playing and then became an All-American and But like Jordan and you came in like you guys were dogs. Like you guys were like the two probably most skilled dudes in the league. And obviously, you and Jordan ends up going down that year and gets hurt, and unfortunately misses the rest of the year, which really sucked because we're both Jordan fans, but we love the guy and we wanted him to have a good year. But you ended up having a great year yourself. You played 30 minutes a game, 16 points, had a solid year, probably not the year you wanted to, but you had a really big game, a 29-point game, and a 108 to 101 victory over against Northern Michigan. And you also had a huge game against, I think it was Mankato, where you had 26.
Yeah, I was
killing, obviously.
My back was broke.
Yeah, man. Talk about that back, man. You were struggling all year, weren't you?
My back. Yeah, I only played 8 games.
8 games, really?
Yeah, and then I got a medical red shirt after that. So literally after that game, after the Mankato game, it was right before Christmas. I'm thinking, I'm like, all right, I'm back. Like I feel good.
Yeah.
I just like this is a good team.
Yeah.
Like probably best team in the conference.
Yeah, for sure. They just won a national championship last
year.
Yeah,
and we compete. Like we should have beat them. We probably would have beat them if we had had Jay Horn.
Yeah.
But I almost had 30. I'm like, good.
Yeah.
And then like literally the next day they sent me like images of like you got stress fractures in both your L5 and your right side and your left side. So,
yeah.
I was sick.
Was it one of those injuries that they were like, you got to be done?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm like, in my mind, like, mind you, so see, I got to go back now. So in the last year pro-am, so not this year, but the
year before. Yeah.
It was my second year in the pro-am. I'm like, I'm coming in. I just had a crazy year for CSP. I'm like, all right, like, I got to be better this year. So and then Mike Muscala's playing with me. I'm playing with Mike Muscala. So I'm like, this NBA guy, I gotta play good for him. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like,
no doubt.
That's what my head was at. I'm like, so I'm killing it. Like I'm going like crazy. Like even though Mike's on my team, like I'm going like insane.
30-point,
you know what I mean? Just doing like crazy. And I'm like, Dag, like, fast forward, right before the playoffs, I'm going crazy the whole, my cousin died. So my little this is like this is like my mom's sister's son. Like I got twin cousins, so two twins. It's one of them died. And it's right before the prime playoffs, and that hit me like the hardest, like
Wow.
the worst, like
Yeah.
right before my last year. And these is this is a person I talked to, like, just give me 4 years, like,
Yeah.
we gonna, like, I'm gonna make sure, like, we good, like, I'm gonna get us, we gonna be straight.
Yeah.
My whole life, like that, like, I've been good at sports, and they always been supporting me, like,
Yeah.
these are my two favorite cousins, two
Yeah.
twins, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So, like, I felt guilty that, like, it was my fault, like,
You almost
even
wanted to put the blame on yourself in a
yeah,
way in that respect. Yeah.
still to this day, like, I feel like I should have did more at UNI. I should have tried to, like, do more, cause, like, but that's with everybody, for real. Like, even my brother, but, like, for this one, like, it really, like, cause, like, I was with him, like, maybe the day before, and was helping us move. And, like, I was talking to him, like, before I dropped him off, we was just talking and stuff about, life and stuff. And I was just telling him, like, you should do this, you should do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that happened, and it just put me in a mode like that. Like, last year, like, I was just on, like, a business type of,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like, after the program, we had lost I think we had lost the game for the championship.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I was sick, because I'm like, I wanted to finish it out and win for
Yeah.
for him and stuff, but I didn't get to do it. So during the season, I'm like, all right, CSP don't get this rep, like this. They get a bad rep. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? We ain't got nothing for basketball.
Yeah, they're
nothing,
known for not being one of the better teams in the league.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm gonna do everything in my power to, like, really, like,
Yeah.
whole preseason my back hurting, and we played against St. Thomas. We smoked them the first half. Like, I'm like, all right, we gonna be like, we gonna be really nice.
Yeah.
After the game, I couldn't walk.
Wow.
None of that. So I'm like, dang, like, it's like, how, like, the beginning of preseason, it's like you got, like, nagging injuries, like, it's weird. Like,
Yeah, you always have those little things. You
yeah,
probably thought it's just one of those little things.
yeah. So, like, I'm like, all right, whatever. So yeah, I go through preseason. We start playing. We lose our first game, then win 3 straight. That Northern Michigan game,
Yeah.
I think I was hurt. Like, my back was hurting. But I'm like, I gotta play. It's my first home game. Like, if you was to watch, like, the broadcast, like, you can see all my family members. It's like 25, 30 people.
Wow.
With my cousin, like, face, like, it's like a mixture of me and my cousin. Like, me playing basketball on my cousin's face. So I was like, I gotta play like this. My family's coming, right? So I play, and my cousin was like, they was talking about, like, over and under. Like, they was like, he gonna over under. You know how, like,
over under 25 points.
Yeah, but, like, the first, like, 5 minutes, I had, like, 13. Like, I was killing.
They're like, oh, you gotta have 50.
Yeah. So, like, some of it, but before the game, they was like under, over, whatever.
Yeah.
After the game, they told me. But anyway, so, like, I had, like, 13 in the first, like, 5 minutes. We had got a big, like, 30, and my back was hurting so bad, so I had to sit up. Like, I went to go sit down. I had to start riding the bike. Had something on my back, and I kind of knew then. I'm like, it's something big, like, deeper and bigger.
Yeah, you could tell.
But I'm like, let's just finish this game. I'll win. And it was like 5 minutes left, and they had came back. That's why the score was so high.
Yeah,
like, we should have beat them by 40. Like, but it's like, can you go back in?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have went back in. But I'm like, yeah,
your family's there, your competitor, like,
I want to win. Yeah. So I went back in. We ended up winning. After that game, I couldn't walk. I had broke my hip in 8th grade, and it felt like that. Like, I had broke like, I couldn't walk. Like, it was just like, it hurt so bad. Like I was messed up.
So you probably knew at that point it was like, something's bad here.
Yeah. So I had sat out a couple games, and I came back for that kiddo game, and
was that the only one you came back for?
That was Duluth. I played Duluth, and then I played Cato, but I was bad. I was terrible in Duluth. Like, I couldn't even jump. Like, I just was playing because.
So you knew it was like, I got to get this thing fixed.
Yeah. So but I mean, that happened. Losing my little cousin. That was tough, man.
Yeah.
But I get hurt. I mean, obviously we probably gonna talk about it, but I knew I was out for the season. The doctor had told me, he's like, you can keep playing, and in my mind, I'm like, I gotta go, like I gotta keep playing so I can get up like a contract or somewhere, do something, you know what I mean?
Overseas.
Or something like I was just like I got to, and then because of that, like stuff like that, could lose my little cousin. Like that's where my mind was at. Like I'm like, I gotta do something for my family that, like, So, but the doctor was like, it's my daughter. Always like my daughter. Like whenever I'm ready to make a decision, I always think about my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, if you keep playing, you can just mess up your back more, and you're not gonna be able to like play with your daughter when you get like 30, 31.
It's crazy
you're
to
gonna have
hear,
keep
right?
on having surgery. So I'm like, I'm cool, like I'm done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I knew I was gonna get a year back, so I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I instantly went into like the mindset of like I'm gonna get back to how I was, and I'm gonna be even better.
Yeah. That's
So,
crazy. How tough was that for you to kind of like come to that realization? Because it's like you know you want to hoop, but at the same time, it's like you're hurting too. So it's like it's that kind of battle where it's like I want to feel better, like I want to feel good enough to hoop, but at the same time, like I want to go out there and hoop.
yeah. What's the battle with that?
Yeah. What's the biggest battle that you face, kind of being injured?
Just not being able to play. Like like for me, it's annoying. Like
Yeah.
it's not being out there.
Yeah. When you
More
feel that you
annoying.
could be out there helping and
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
yeah, more than that. That's more than ever.
Yeah.
And like I said, it helped knowing that I had another year. So I wasn't really like really tripping for real.
Yeah, you knew that you were able to come back for this upcoming season, and you go through, the trials and the rehab and all that kind of stuff. Tell us how you feeling now, and how's everything feel?
I feel amazing.
Obviously, you look good in the pro am.
I feel amazing.
Anybody that came to the pro am saw you. You look good. I unfortunately wasn't there for our championship game. I was at Turks and Caicos, but
that's where you were at.
I missed out, bro.
I was trying to figure out where you at.
I missed out, bro. We scheduled a vacation like early on in the summer, and I was like, we make it to the championship, I'm not gonna be able to go. Like I realized that. I was like, and we made it to the championship, played y'all, kicked our butt. But it's so fun to see you out there playing again and being yourself and just how awesome was that for you just to you went through the whole rehab of the back and everything and it's like that's nerve the back is nothing to play with too. Like that can be something that's dangerous and now you're back and healthy.
Nah, that was everything for me. Yeah. Like it was so huge for me. That was like words can't even describe, like, mentally, like being out 7 months, you know what I'm saying? And then like not finishing last year for my little cousin and then like coming back this year and like I didn't know how I was gonna be. Like obviously in my head I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna come back, like I'm gonna be the same. But like you don't really know for real, you know?
Never know.
But like I was positive through the whole thing. I'm just like, I'm gonna be the same, like I'm gonna be straight. Like I'm like the whole 7 months I was, down. So
but that 7 months what did you do mentally to like kind of get yourself through? Obviously, you had your daughter there, and you probably spent a lot of time with her and just growing and developing your relationship. But like, how did you kind of keep yourself in it mentally, thinking like, I got to come back and I got to hoop again?
I do a lot of reading. I read a lot. Self talk. Praying.
Yeah.
That's all.
Those are your big three.
Yeah, that's the main big three, man. Like that, like praying. You know God, like obviously God gonna be there. Nobody else is there, and then self talk, like it may be weird. Like I tell people, like I literally go in the mirror and be like I had a saying last year, like I am, and like I just like put like stuff like I am this, like I am. I like it may be weird, like I'll be like I am attractive, like just to say like over and over, because like growing up, like you hear certain things and you start to believe it. Like over the course of time, you start to believe certain stuff.
What other
like,
people are saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you and I start to believe that I wasn't worthy of being a pro, or I wasn't good enough to be play at a certain level. So over time, I start believing it. So like throughout the whole injury, like I am strong. I am I am God fearing, like certain stuff. Just a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean?
What led you to that? Was that something where you just kind of like discovered on your own, or was it like something that somebody like taught you? Or
reading, reading, man, reading. Like I read a lot of motivational books. Right now I'm reading a book called The Positive Dog. Okay. It's about a dog that's in like a shelter, and another dog kind of is teaching him to look at life positively and not be so negative about stuff, because it's a negative dog that's just
kind of the same thing you did for yourself.
So like it's like, and show gratitude, you know what I mean? And like I read stuff like that, you know. I read it like a like simple as I read this. It's a book called The Mental Game. It's about a golf. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like
that too.
And that's what really helped me. Like seeing myself. Like the whole 7 months, like I'm like, all right, my first accident is probably gonna be in a pro-am, and it was like in a Rip City league. So I'm like, all right,
Yep.
I gotta see myself as winning the whole thing. See, like envision myself winning the whole thing, envision myself being this, envision myself. So I'm just the whole time I'm just envisioning myself, telling myself I'm gonna be this
Yeah.
and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's all I did for the 7 months I was out. I didn't care about nothing else. I didn't care about my back being injured, being in a back brace. Every day I was praying, talking to myself, and being grateful. I'm like, well, I'm grateful that I can use my hands still. I can talk. I can see. Being grateful, showing like gratitude to things um that really matter for real. And we don't really show, like, nobody really looks down at their hands like, oh, I can move my hands.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Because I've talked about it a lot on the podcast too, where it's like we're so much more than just like the basketball player, and for yourself, it's like you have a daughter and you're a dad and so many other different situations, but it's like you never realize like how good we truly do have it too, and we think like when like for example your back gets hurt and it's like you want to go in your room and just cry and it's sad and it feels like the end of the world, but like we're still so many things that we can be grateful for.
Yeah.
Is that kind of something you kind of figured out through? And I think
For
that's
sure.
something you don't even like really realize till something
Yeah.
like that happens to you, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think I've always been like it. Like I think I'm just naturally that person. Like
Yeah,
since a
that's
kid,
cool.
like stuff that happened to me as a kid, stuff like I done been through stuff, seen stuff, and I've always been positive. Like I
Yeah.
really not really care about the negative for real. Like
Yeah.
I'm not I'm super emotional, and I think I'm emotional because I grew up around a lot of girls, and girls are just emotional. I think I took that trait on because I grew up around a lot of girls, my sisters, my mom, my aunties. But as far as like being like positive, I mean being negative, I'm not a negative person. Like anywhere you see me, I'm always smiling.
Always.
Like somebody just told me today, they was like, "You always smiling." I'm like,
you got two pretty big white teeth. Yeah, you're smiling, bro.
So yeah, I just love being positive because it's like you can either have faith or you can have fear, and they're both the same thing. It's just um, the unknown. One is faith is believing in something that's going to be good before it happens, and fear is believing in something that's going to be bad before it happens. So why not believe in something that's going to be good before it happens, rather than believing something's going to be bad? You know,
man, that's genius right there, bro. That's
like,
genius right there. No, it's facts. I mean, you hit on it early in the podcast talking about being positive. Where do you think that comes from? Do you think it's just that's who you are, or do you think that comes from, family members, or the possibility of the fact that you lost, so many people close to you? Do you think that comes from that, or where do you think that positive spirit really comes from?
I think it comes from God. That's why I just give thanks to God for having this positive spirit. You know what I mean? Like I don't think it really comes from nobody. I just think I've naturally always been positive since a kid. And
that's the way you were made.
like so I give credit to God. I think God just made me like this, and I'm glad He made me like this, and
beautiful.
I'm glad He keeps on like continue to make me like this because I don't think I would have gotten through the things I gotten through without God and without being positive. Especially like these last 2 years. Like these last 2 years have been like life changing for me. You know what I mean? So and it's the journey continues. You know what I mean?
Always does.
Right now, my got like saying the tour continues. I'm a big WaterWave fan, so like it's a lot that goes into
new album came out.
New album like, and it's called The Last Lap. And last year, just losing people, like losing like a big person in my life. Like my caption last year was The Last Lap, and for me, like a lot of stuff, just I put a lot of stuff together. My caption last year for my media day was Last Lap. WaterWave album this year is The Last Lap, and
look at that.
I feel like that caption it kind of gives like this is it for me, you know what I mean? And that's just not, God didn't have that for me last year for to be done with college and just, you know what I mean? So just like having the summer I had, like it's just like the tour continues. Like I think that this season is gonna be amazing. I think that we like as a team is gonna do some crazy things, and I think that I'm gonna do some crazy things. So I mean, it's like that's
well, we're excited, super excited to watch you and check you out. For those of you that are listening, make sure you guys get over and check out Antwan this year at CSP. He's going to have a heck of a year coming off of that injury. Just wrapping it up, last question we ask everybody on the podcast. It's I've asked had 25 episodes or so now. I've asked every single person. What would you tell yourself, a 14-year-old, 13-year-old, 15, whatever version of yourself? What advice would you give yourself? And for you, you talked a lot about positivity. Maybe it's talking about the positivity, but what advice would you tell yourself through adversity to lean on and to make sure you put at the forefront?
Bro, that's a loaded question.
I know it is. It's a tough one.
14-year-old me, 14-year-old me, seen this. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would tell 14-year-old me.
It's hard. Take your time, man. Take your time. I think so many people, when I ask them this, they like it is a very, very loaded question, and it's easy to just kind of just like tell you like give a quick answer. But like I think for you, obviously, you talk about that positivity that you have. I think I don't know. I'll leave it to you, man. Whatever advice.
14-year-old me.
What advice would you give to yourself, man? It's tough because there's a lot of things you could tell yourself, right?
Keep going.
Yeah.
I definitely tell my 14-year-old self just to keep going.
Yeah.
Probably go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Probably go to therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably the one thing. I think therapy. I probably would tell my 14-year-old self to keep going and then go to therapy.
Yeah.
And like get help. You know what I mean?
Be able to talk out how you're feeling and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And encourage others around you to do the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. It's something that I've been open with on the podcast about, my struggles with my mental health and through injuries and how important it was for me to go get help and go talk to sports psychology and therapy and I think a lot of people, especially as men, and we're supposed to be strong. And for you, you're a father, and you're not supposed to like. Society says that you're not supposed to have your troubles and you're supposed to be strong, but at the same time, it's like we do.
Yeah.
And I think our sport puts so much pressure on that. But at the same time, we're more than just that basketball player, and it's important to protect our minds as humans as well.
For sure. Yeah. I would encourage everybody, like to this day, like go to therapy. It's huge. Go talk to somebody, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you never know what others are going through, and you might go talk to that therapist, and you might help that therapist.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about for me, is helping others. You know what I mean? Like, I'm big on helping others, and I think that's where my life is probably going to head. I work with kids right now, so just helping the kids that look like me and helping kids that have been through the same thing as me. You know what I mean? I look forward to that. I love helping people. I love seeing people smile. I love people putting a smile on people's faces. So, everybody should go to therapy.
There you go.
If you don't go to therapy, you're lame.
That's your advice right there. That's your advice right there. Well, Antwan, we appreciate you coming on the Double Down podcast. We appreciate you opening up about your story. Obviously, for those of you that are listening, you're going to be fans of Antwan. Just listen to this episode. But I'm a fan, brother. I always have been. And I'm super excited to be witnessing what this year looks like for you. Obviously, it was trouble losing to you in the finals of the Pro-Am this year, but the Double Down podcast will be back in the Pro-Am next year. Hopefully, you're back too. Hopefully, we can snag you and maybe get you on the Double Down team. I don't know.
I'm retired.
You're retired for retired for the Pro-Am?
I'll probably be done, man.
Okay. You're going out on top.
Man, the goal is to play in the Summer League next year.
You're going out on top.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't want to be at the Pro-Am next year. If I'm there, then I'm there unwilling.
Go be on that NBA.
Yeah, that's what
I love it. I love it. Well, Antwan, have a great year. We appreciate you coming on the podcast. It's been your host, Parker Fox, the Double Down Podcast, and we're out. Peace.